Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today, Natalie and I are going to seed. We're going to be seeding different things. Natalie's going to be seeding orchard grass into this pasture. I think that's probably all we're going to be able to get done today is this pasture. We should do some on the other two pastures as well, but this one is the most damaged, as you can see. And the most damaged area is right here and right up and down this flat area. So what she's going to do, we're going to set her up with a broadcast seeder, and she's just going to try to get these areas covered with seed. This area especially. If you don't know how a dry lot works, we have the horses locked up in this dry lot, and they're going to be locked up in here until the grasses are ready to eat. If you just let your horses go out on pasture and stay there year round, at this time of year, all they're going to do is just keep biting off the grass as it comes up, and they're going to really damage the pasture. You know, it might look like they're getting something to eat, but they're just nibbling it off as it comes up. And then eventually that'll kill the good grass, and you'll have just a ton of weeds in there. And we don't want that. And the reason for overseeding is they eat pretty much everything every year. It never goes to seed except for the occasional weed. So if you don't get your good grass, if you don't get the seed from your good grass into your pasture, the only seed it's ever going to get is from weeds that they don't want to eat. So they'll let stuff grow like in here. They'll let weeds grow in here. That will cast seeds down onto the pasture, but none of the orchard grass will ever go to seed. So you really have to seed your pasture or overseed every year. And that's what we're going to do. Grass seed is very expensive this year, and the last time Natalie seeded, she walked like from here halfway or maybe to that cedar tree and dumped her entire amount of seed, and that amount of seed should have been for the whole pasture. You remember when you did that out? She did that up in, I had to seed the entire rest of the pasture. We split the seed in half, and she went down the hill and her seed was gone.
Okay, Frankie.
She was rushing it. We have, I believe, a 40-pound bag. Seed was really expensive this year, so we really have to conserve our seed. So we're going to go, I'm going to fill Natalie up with the seeder, and we'll get her working. And then I'm going to hand toss bluegrass seed on that upper part, and I'll show you what I'm doing up there.
Hey, girlie. Oh, you're okay. Come here. You're okay. Yeah.
Being a little snot.
I scared her.
Okay. All right, let's get your seeder filled. Oh yeah, it looks like all these younger ones want to play with the ball.
Yeah, everyone but Mark. Look at him.
It's like, yeah, playing with the ball is no fun. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. Izzy's looking all concerned. I got to get in there and get my ball.
Mark.
Okay, let's go get that seeder filled.
I'll get you your ball, Izzy. Don't let it drop down here if you... Oh, no.
Don't bring it over there. That is a horse bite. Natalie got bit by the new horse Max. He has a cut on his leg. We're going to do an introductory video real soon, but like I said, other things come first. All right, here is your cedar. Grab that. That is our orchard grass, and that's either 40 or 50 pounds. Let's bring that over here. Oh, this is uncomfortable. I'll do this on the ground. All right, we got this thing fitted to Natalie. You could see seed is already starting to come out there. This paddle right here, put your hand on it, right here.
This one?
That opens and closes the door, and you can open it or close it not all the way.
Which way is which?
I can't remember, but it's real easy to figure out once you start doing it. So you get that dialed in, and then you get your speed of your crank dialed in according to how fast you're walking and whether you're walking into the wind or anything like that. And then you'll really quickly get it figured out. We'll probably want to leave this open. You want to get some seed on this. You want to get it along the road right here, Natalie?
Yeah.
Along the road on the outside of the fence here.
Okay.
Because we don't want weeds growing there. We're going to be putting the bucket fence out there, so they'll be eating that stuff. So we need seed along the outside, this entire area right here, and then up and down, and not just walk up and down. You got to go along the edge, come back, go back and forth several times. You will probably need to fill that up a couple times.
Okay.
2 more times. So first thing I would do is just start like in this area, and then walk up along the back in here and kind of get a method to your madness. And remember, don't dump so much seed that you're dumping the whole thing right away. There's already grass growing. What we're trying to do is fill in the bare spots. So if an area has a whole bunch of grass to start with, we probably don't need to do it there that much. Do you want me to leave the gator here so that you can fill that, or can you do it on the ground?
I can do it on the ground.
All right, I will leave the bag for you then. And then when you're done with this and I'm done seeding the bluegrass, we're going to hook the drag up, and we'll drag as much as we can in this area, and then we'll drag along the road up there, and that will be it. What time is it?
1:30.
All right, we should have plenty of time. All right, I will get going and do the bluegrass. Okay. I'm going to want to get the most seed right near the road. That was like solid weeds at the beginning of last year before I started doing anything with this. And wherever there's a bunch of gravel like this, I want to get a fair amount of seed in there as well. And then when we run the drag over this, that's going to mix it all in really nice. And then we're going to have 4 days of rain. So hopefully this grows some real nice grass. Spots like this, that looks like it was killed by, it was probably when we were doing the fertilizer, and the fertilizer shutoff doesn't work all that great, so it'll dump a pile like that. But all of these spots are where crabgrass or foxtail was. Like that was all foxtail right there. Or I don't know if that was probably crabgrass right there. And this was all foxtail. So I'm going to get a good amount of seed into areas like this. You could see that it's coming back real well right in there, so I don't need much or any right in there. So I'll be walking back and forth, and then a little bit later in the year, we're going to have to get in here. This has to be sprayed and overseeded as well. So yeah, it's a lot of work to have horses. All right, let's get this bluegrass down. Okay, there is the drag. We have to get that out of this tangle here. I think that's that rake. Yeah, that's that rake in the front. Once we get that out, we'll have to put that rake in the back so we can get at this drag easier. And we got to get that onto the back of here, and then we're just going to drag back and forth a few times on that stuff that I just seeded. The gravel is like 6 inches thick in places. The guy just went nuts over the winter trying to push the snowbanks back in case we got more snow. And for one thing, we didn't get more snow, but he pushed half of the damn road onto the side of the road. We just got new gravel last year. They re-graveled the road, and now the majority of it is out in the field. So this drag should break that up a bit. There's places where it's really, really clumpy, and I dumped a good amount of seed on the entire row of it. So once we get in there and drag, our seeds should be all ready. All right, I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Okay, we got the drag loaded. Now we just need a D-ring for the hitch there, and then we'll get this set up right over here, and then Natalie can film from back here once we get it set up. So we got to get a D-ring in the shed, so let's get that and we're off to the races. Okay, that looks like it'll work. Hi, kitty. Don't have a lot of time to pet you, kitty. Gotta get dragging. Okay, so grab the other end of this. Just set this down, flip it under. If you can get that D-ring on there, and then it just hooks on with these hooks here. We are going to put it, you can do it 4 different ways. You can do it forwards, backwards, and then either forwards or backwards. You can do it right side up or upside down. You can have these facing downwards, that's the most aggressive, or you can have them facing upwards, which is very little aggression. All right, come on.
How do we want to?
Well, let's get it on the ground first. I gotta see. It looks like if we turn it around, you go that way. We're gonna want the most aggression because this is pretty bad. Yeah, this is the most aggressive with the hooks facing forward. And the second most would be turning this around with the hooks facing back, and then it would drag the hooks. And then you have 2 other versions if you flip the whole thing over. Hold that. Okay, and the D-ring is all hooked up. All right, so it's tangled just a bit. All right, and you can hook these side to side and end to end. You can put a whole bunch of them together if you want. And I believe this is a 4-footer, and they make them, or this is 4 or 5, and they make them really wide as well. So Natalie's gonna get in. Natalie will film. See, our garden ends right here, but the mess starts right there. So we're gonna take one pass right at the road, and then we'll take as many passes as it takes to get this busted up. You'll see how bad it is as we go. Okay, we did a couple passes and got everything broken up. I'm not sure if you could see it or not, but right there, fairly close to where we are, there was clods. It was at least 6 inches thick. So now what we're gonna do is flip this over, then it'll catch the gravel inside the triangles and pull it forward. So that should smooth it out a little bit and get rid of the real thick areas. So basically, if Natalie grabs that, we just gotta walk this over and drop it. And then she's gonna have to do this. Yeah, you could see how much these brightened up. These were rusty from the winter. could see how much all this brightened up just from them little trips. So now we'll go back and forth twice, which will be 4 passes. That should smooth all that gravel out pretty well. And that should be it for us.
dog's next to us.
Okay, all done. There's still a lot of stuff out there. I'm going to go with the hand rake and get some of the clumps of dirt out of there. But for the most part, that smoothed all that gravel out. I mean, there was piles and piles of that stuff. I'm not sure how well it showed from back here. How did it look from back here, baby?
Good.
Good. Okay, so we're going to roll this up, put it back in the back of the gator. And then Natalie has somewhere to go, and I'm going to continue with the seeding over in that lawn. Okay, we are going to do some more dragging, but I think we have, it's probably going to be 5 days. Tomorrow I'm going to be pruning all day in the vineyard, and it's going to be way windier than it is right now. It's starting to get windy right now. Natalie's got to go. But we have to drag that pasture over there, and we have to drag that pasture. We have to do a bit more seeding and stuff, so I guess those are going to be separate videos. So we'll say goodbye to Natalie for now.
Bye.
Bye, honey. And I will get back and finish up the overseeding in the lawn right here, and then that will pretty much do it for this video. It should be in really good shape for the rain that's coming up. I got a lot of seed on top of this gravel before we dragged. Now that's mixed into the gravel. This is actually like this every year. This year is just extra bad because we had fresh gravel on the road. But normally we do have gravel onto the lawn every year, and it just like pushes into the lawn. The grass grows around it, and it just kind of disappears every year. And it'll do the same thing this year. But the way it was with all them big lumps of gravel and sod and stuff, because he dug in to the edge here and was pulling up grass and dirt and stuff as well. So it had just a bunch of stuff mixed in. I'm going to go get that stuff. You can see it right there, little lumps of sod. I'm going to go grab that stuff out of it, but this right here is going to look just gorgeous in, I would say 3 weeks, 3 weeks to a month. A lot of seeds got to come up, and the stuff from last year needs to get bigger, but it'll look really nice in the end. All right, let's get the rest of that seed down, and that'll be it for this video. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up. Let me see how much seed I got left. whatever is left, I'm gonna just put in a cool place, cool dry place until fall. Okay, I got maybe 5 pounds left, which is great. That's all I really need for the fall. So I have my fall seed taken care of, and I overseeded last fall as well. So all that stuff is, most of it's already up, but some of it will start coming up now that it's warming up and we're gonna have a bunch of rain. So the next time you see this should be very green, this whole stretch right here. And this other yard should be really nice as well. The thing I am worried the most about is this pasture. And like I said before, if you don't have a dry lot, if you don't have a place to put the animals when the pasture is going to be wet, you do this in the spring and in the late fall. If you don't have a place to put them, they're just going to compact the soil. Because the soil's wet in the spring and fall, with these 1,000-pound animals walking on it, it compacts the soil, and after a while nothing will grow in the areas that are compacted. And you can get your entire pasture that way, that everything is just compacted and nothing's going to grow but weeds. So you really have to lock up your animals in a dry lot and feed them hay while your pasture recovers. So as soon as this, we're guessing about 6 inches tall, 6 to 8 inches tall, then we're going to let them out here. But right now, all they would do is they would go to all this stuff and nibble each little bunch until it was basically right at the ground level, and they would end up killing it. So Natalie seeded here. Yep, I could see some of the seeds. She seeded the orchard grass here. So what we're gonna do, we don't really have the time for it today. There's a bunch of other stuff I gotta get done before the rain starts. So hopefully some of this stuff grows, but we're gonna get in here and drag this area right here really well. We're gonna get rid of that stuff right there, get rid of that duck stuff. No more duck stuff, no more chicken stuff. Get rid of that stuff. We're going to drag this area real well, and we're going to drag the area where they walk right down here. We're just going to give that kind of a cursory dragging like we did on that stuff up there, with the teeth down for a couple passes just to break up these holes right here where the horses compacted it. We'll do that for a couple passes, then we'll drag it with the teeth up for a couple times and just get this nice and smoothed off. And then we'll probably have to put a few more seeds down in this area. Then we're going to have to walk the whole area and look for areas that need to be reseeded. This pasture is doing fairly well, but it got zero attention last year, so it's probably going to have a ton of weeds. So I'll probably have to get in here and spray this, but we won't know for a couple weeks now. So in the end, pastures are just a ton of work, especially if you're reclaiming one like we did. This basically from right over here and then right around to the back of the shed, everything this way and that way was all trees. We've had to clear all of this stuff, and we're still doing it. And then you have to start all your grasses and stuff as well. It's a huge process, and I don't recommend doing it. If you have a place with pastures already, you're way ahead of the game. Then you just got to kill the weeds and keep the grass growing. But with hilly land like this that was forest, it's a whole lot of work. And we got a whole lot of work coming, getting rid of all these trees that fell over the winter and stuff as well. Yeah, a whole lot to do here. So if you want to see all that stuff, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.